Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to the channel. Out here in rural Japan, going for a run first thing in the morning by the rice fields. Out here in the sticks. But yeah, kind of just doing an introduction, what's going on, how this channel is going to evolve, what we're going to do. Moved out here in March of this year, 2023, and been out here pretty much the whole time, except for went back to the States in August for Monterey Car Week and WECFest, and a friend of mine was racing in Sonoma, and got a video coming up on that pretty soon. But yeah, just want to give a quick overview of what it's like the last 3 months living out here, and you know, the realities of living away from a big city. Everybody kind of thinks that Japan is these mega cities, but you know, as you can see, get out here in the rural areas, it's pretty empty, which we like. It's good, calm, a lot of wildlife. Probably hear all the bugs and birds in the background, and but so what's in store for this channel? Well, it's mainly about cars. JDM, German, Italian, I mean, you name it, British. If it's car related, I'm interested in it, want to cover it. You know, myself, I've got, you know, race builds, restorations, drift cars. Of course, most of them probably not that easy to register in the Shotgun. You need a Shotgun here. It's every 2 years you have to get an inspection, and so I'm working on that with one of my cars right now, but the other ones are either too rusty or too old, or you know, there's a lot of hoops you got to go through here. It's not like the States where it's a little bit easier, especially out of California, where I'm originally from. But yeah, just kind of a, you know, general documentation of everything. That's what I'm doing it for. My personal journey here and evolution. It's kind of cool to document all that and show people what it's like. We're kind of centrally located near a drift track and a couple circuit tracks, so it's good kind of bounce between different types of driving. Definitely want to get into some dirt, all-terrain driving as well. But yeah, the local drift track's about 45 minutes one way, and the circuit track is 45 minutes the other way. So it's good. Next step would probably be to get some type of car hauler, because they don't have trailers here really, or they do, but it's pretty uncommon to see people with a trailer like in the States. Most of the time it's the car haulers with the ramps. So what do you guys want to see? I kind of want to make this channel pretty interactive. You know, people like, comment, subscribe, telling me, you know, things they want to see, maybe events they want me to go to, you know, just general questions about what it's like living out here, and you know, what they like to see, so we can keep, you know, people engaged. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty full on doing something like this, because you have all the filming, getting to an event, all the editing, and then, you know, getting the music and the clip to fit the vibe of the video. So there's, you know, quite a bit of work involved in doing a YouTube channel. So another thing I really want to do is have the learning of the language be a big part of it, and you know, the process of how to integrate into a culture, because I lived overseas for quite a few years and kind of went through that whole process of, knowing nothing to leaving and, speaking a language fairly fluently. Of course, it was a Romance language, so quite a bit easier. Here we have obviously the Japanese characters. You have the hiragana, katakana, and the kanjis. The hiragana has about 50 characters, and the katakana has about 50 characters as well. But then the kanjis, there's close to 3,000 and even more. Some native Japanese people don't even know all the kanjis, which is pretty wild to think about. I mean, we're talking about a place, that has over 1,000-year-old written history. So that's pretty daunting, because obviously everything is, you're starting from scratch. And, but that's one advantage of already gone through that process. At least, it's intimidating, but at the same time, you try to absorb everything kind of naturally. And that's how I feel the best way to learn a language is. It's not by, studying in a book, but actually being there day to day. But yeah, definitely challenging for Japanese. So that's going to be interesting to see. And anything you guys want to learn about or have questions about, don't hesitate to ask. We can go over some of that if time permits. So yeah, Japan's kind of a trip, because I've never seen a culture more reverent towards nature on one hand, but on the other hand, I've never seen a culture that is so dominant of it. I mean, you go to these huge mega cities and there's literally, nothing that's been undeveloped. It's crazy. And the amount of heavy equipment in the country, and the amount of just land mass that they've torn apart, or for these, the roadways and the tunnels, and I mean the sheer amount of concrete that's been poured over the last, say after, the end of World War II, so 1945, 2023, that's close to 70 years, is staggering. That's pretty incredible to see. And then you come out here away from a big city. I'm about 2 hours away from Osaka, and there's nothing but jungle and nature. So and people gardening and rice farming, which you never see in the States. Everybody's in their little cube or their little box going to another cube or another box. And so that's very interesting to see. And we'll be going to the cities as well and exploring and going to events, but mainly I'm pretty focused out here. I like to be out in nature and breathing fresh air. Ohayou gozaimasu. But yeah, people are really friendly out here and say hello and do the traditional head bow. At least they acknowledge you exist, which is pretty cool. Some people, of course, are a bit wary about gaijin, which is natural. I probably feel the same way. Very traditional here, and so try to respect that, and try to respect all the people as much as I can. So something everyone asks about is the population decline and the demographics, aging, and it's a definite reality out here. And especially in the countryside. Something like 30% of the population of Japan, about 130 million, are over 65. So you can definitely see it when you go to the grocery store, and you see a lot of old people. And you come out here and a lot of abandoned homes every single day, and definitely a big shift. Another thing that people ask about is, what's it like after COVID? I mean, COVID was a huge shock to this place. I mean, the Japanese by nature are, very conscious of, China bringing in, diseases over the last, several centuries. So a lot of that has been, carried over to how the population views these pandemics. They had the SARS, all of that. I'm not going to go into it, but, the country was essentially fully closed down. I mean, a lot of places were, but this place especially. And so it's good that everything's opened back up. I mean, because this place was, dying, literally everything. There's so many businesses have been closed, so it's good to have the tourists coming back and people coming in, and rightfully so, because the service here is, top notch. The food, the transportation system, the organization, and then of course the hospitality of the people is, kind of unmatched. I've been in a lot of places, and it's really, really friendly and accommodating, and they want to, they want to be of service and help out. So yeah, let's get on the subject of cars. That's what I love to do, and that's probably what you guys want to see too. But I like them all. Mazda, Rotaries, Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishis, trucks, drift cars, stance cars. There's even a big American lowrider muscle car scene here, which is super cool. I'm into all the, Chevy stuff, big blocks, and so we're going to be going to see a lot of those kind of shows. We have Tokyo Auto Salon kind of coming up right around the corner, really, only in a couple more months. Osaka Auto Salon, WECFest, and then I have Super GT event at our local circuit track, and probably be going to some time attack stuff at Scuba and Mount Fuji Suzuka events. I mean, this car culture is probably, number one. Probably rivals Germany and Europe and the United States, but Japan they're fanatics out here. I mean, the amount of detail that they pour into builds and everything is really next level. And they also do crazy stuff that you wouldn't even dream of doing in the States or somewhere else. They'll just go for it and take it to the nth degree, which you probably all know. So that's kind of cool. But I want to get into the mindset of the people, try to bridge that gap with the language barrier, because sometimes you don't get that. Everybody's so fast paced and moving around that they don't actually sit down and talk to someone and get their kind of history, their background, what inspired them, their philosophies on car culture or racing, or what they've seen over the course of their lifetime. I've got a video going to drop on a legendary tuner coming up pretty soon with subtitles, and whoa, gotta watch out for spider webs. You never know, sometimes these things are poisonous. There's snakes out here too, which is kind of something you got to think about. I was playing golf a couple of years ago, and went to go get a ball at I shanked. And the guy was like, no, don't go in those bushes. There's snakes in there, poisonous ones. So yeah, you got to be kind of on your toes for the wildlife. We also have boars out here. They're kind of a problem. They get into people's rice fields and stuff, and kind of want to get into maybe a bit of hunting, bow and arrow style. I used to live in the South Pacific for a lot of years, and I had a fanatical neighbor go out and up into the mountains hunting pigs with dogs, and I mean, it's pretty wild. The dogs would quarter a pig, and he'd actually dug a pit and the thing had fell into it, and he jumped in and slayed it with a knife, and we had to carry it out on a bamboo pole, and bugs in bush. I mean, it was radical, but definitely good eating, because they just forage. They're vegetarians basically. They just forage on fruits and herbs and bushes and stuff. So super lean, nothing like a industrial pig. But yeah, they're a big problem. They eat up all the farmers. This one lady we spoke to the other day said the pig had gotten in there and ate every single potato that she'd planted. So that's kind of an issue. So another question I get asked about is all the famous Akia houses. And yeah, there's a lot of abandoned homes. I've taken a look at some, and decided to go another route, which I'll go into in another video. But yeah, these Akia homes are cheap. You know, in the beginning, I want everybody to fall for the hype, and they are kind of cool. But I mean, you got to understand that a lot of these homes were built in the 60s and 70s, and the construction methods were not like they are today by any means. I mean, sometimes you jump on these things and the whole house shakes, or the plumbing's funky, electrical's funky. A lot of times people passed away, and they've left their entire life's worth of possessions. So you're, as an Akia home buyer, you're responsible for dealing with all that. And it's not like anywhere else where you just fill up a truck and go to the dump and dump all your shit. Here, everything is very restricted, and it's expensive. So you're responsible for dealing with all that, all the debris that somebody left behind, their whole life, basically, which is another hidden cost that people don't think about. So what else do people ask about? The exchange rate. The exchange rate is good right now. It's been hovering between about 145 to 146 yen for a dollar, and definitely makes things feel more affordable. Although since March, and basically the opening of the country in October, November of 2022, I think the inflation, I've seen it just in the short amount of time we've been here. I've seen everything kind of steadily increase. I mean, most of that is due to higher fuel costs, obviously, and everything going on around the world. It's definitely a big issue because most people in Japan, elderly, are living on a pension or savings, so they're seeing their yen kind of slowly depreciate, which is tough. There's a lot of people that are struggling in Japan because of inflation and currency depreciation. So that's definitely something that's affecting the country. And of course, the yen is fundamentally weak. I mean, you can go do your own research on their monetary policies over the last 40 years, but they've, like a lot of countries, have kicked the can down the road, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. I mean, we have the highest debt to GDP ratio in the world. I think it's something like 240%, which doesn't bode well for strength of a currency. So, but as a foreigner, it definitely feels reasonable. You go out to eat and you'll have beers and miso soup and sushi or sashimi, and you're thinking, it's going to be like the States or somewhere else over, easily over $100. And here it's, maybe half that. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this walk and brief discussion, introduction to the channel. Hopefully like, comment, subscribe, follow along. Let me know what you want to see, any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer. I'm going to be releasing videos on a fairly regular basis. All really depends on how much traction I get in the channel and what people like, and hopefully it grows, and that always helps. And the more revenue I can generate, the more content I can put out and do stuff. So kind of a training paradise out here. Not a lot of traffic, a lot of jungle. Really dig it. Able to get in kind of a routine. The sun, obviously rises out of the east, and it gets light early here, about 4:15, 4:30. We have a Buddhist temple near our house, and they're usually hitting the gong about 5 a.m. in the morning, which is pretty cool, telling you it's time to get up and get moving. And people here are industrious.